Hi everyone, it's Tara Bianca with Be Light Transformative Therapy, and today I want to share with you part 4 of our Breathing for Low Back Pain series. Again, these strategies are designed to help with acute low back pain, but they might also be helpful for digestive discomfort and potentially menstrual cramps as well. For part 4 of this series, we're going to be lying prone, meaning on our bellies. And I'm going to be using this 4-inch inflatable ball to apply pressure directly to the abdomen. So as you can see, this ball is really squishy. It's not even fully inflated. So it's advisable whenever you're working on the abdominal area that you not use anything too hard or too rigid. You can easily cause some amount of internal damage if you don't know what you're doing. This is literally just a child's toy that I found online, but I'll be sure to link to some companies making really good quality mobility tools for use on the abdomen so that you have some options. If you don't currently have one of these balls, then I suggest that you go back and watch one of the earlier videos on breathing for low back pain that doesn't require any equipment at all. I'll be sure to link to all of those earlier videos as well in the video description. Okay, so to keep it simple today, we're just going to focus on 4 parts with this ball. We could do a lot around the abdomen, but I think the 4 main things I want to focus on today are what I call the 4 corners of the abdomen. So your abdomen is kind of like a square piece of paper with the 4 corners of the paper cut off. So what are those 4 corners? We have the left side of the diaphragm. We have the right side of the diaphragm, we have that left inner part of the ilium, and we have that right inner part of the ilium. So those are the 4 places that we're going to place the ball today and breathe. So go ahead and find your prone position, meaning on your belly, and we'll start by placing the ball just inside the hip point. So there's that ASIS that we've been marking in all of our videos throughout this series. So find that hip point, you're just going to go right inside of it, just medial to it, right? And you're going to place the ball just inside the bone and you're going to drop your weight on it. And all we're going to do is breathe and we're going to let the ball do the work. We're going to allow our body to let gravity pull it down, okay? So gravity is doing work with this ball. So you can see that ball is just inside my hip point. And now I'm going to get nice and comfortable, lying totally flat, totally prone. So you probably can't see the ball that well on camera, but it's still in the same spot. I'm allowing gravity to pull me down, and I'm just breathing. And as I breathe, I feel my whole body expanding around that ball. Let's take 3 breaths here. So as I inhale, I really feel my sacrum expanding. I feel my hips almost wrapping around the ball. I feel my whole lumbar spine really opening up. And I even feel the ribs expanding and the posterior rib cage expanding. So really taking nice, slow, long, deep inhales. And then exhaling out slowly, allow gravity to pull you down onto that ball. Really melting, really surrendering towards the earth. Allowing that soft, half-inflated ball to just gently sink into the tissue. And let's do 2 more breaths like this. So breathing in slowly, gently, quietly. Feeling your low back expand. Feeling your rib cage expand. And then slowly, gently, quietly exhaling. Letting everything melt towards the earth. One last breath in this position. Inhaling slowly, gently, quietly. Sacrum is expanding. Lumbar spine is expanding. Ribs are expanding. And then exhaling it out. Let everything melt towards the earth. Let everything soften.
Let the ball sink a little deeper into that hip space. Good.
Okay, so now we'll do the same thing. We're just going to put the ball inside the left hip point now. So I'm finding my position. And once I have the ball in position just inside of that left hip point, I really allow my body to relax. I allow my weight to fall towards the earth. I allow that soft ball to just start to sink into the tissue. And now let's do 4 breaths. Let's do 4 breaths today in this position. So slowly, gently, quietly inhale. Can you feel your sacrum expanding? Can you feel like your hips are widening? Can you feel your lumbar spine expanding and rising towards the ceiling? Can you feel your whole rib cage expanding out to the side and also feel the posterior rib cage rising towards the ceiling? And then slowly, gently exhale through the nose. Let everything melt towards the earth. Let the ball sink a little deeper into that hip space. For today, we're just choosing one point, but when you do this on your own, you can explore a number of points inside of that hip space and around the abdomen. Let's go again, 3 more breaths. Inhaling slowly, gently, quietly. So as I'm expanding in slowly with a lot of conscious awareness and conscious control, I'm feeling little pops through my spine, little adjustments through the vertebrae, so that's pretty nice. And then as you slowly, gently exhale, allowing everything to melt, relax, surrender to the earth, letting your weight drop heavy, allowing that ball to sink a little deeper into the hip space. Let's do 2 more breaths like this. Inhaling. Sacrum expands, hips expand. Lumbar spine expands, rises towards the ceiling. Ribs expand laterally. Posterior rib cage rises towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale slowly, everything melts back towards the earth, falling heavy towards the earth. Allow that ball to fall deeper into that hip space. So this is slow, gentle, quiet, nourishing work. Allowing the nervous system to calm down. Allowing yourself to feel a sense of safety. One last breath like this. Take a normal, quiet breath in, slowly, gently, quietly. Feeling everything expand and rise towards the ceiling. And then exhaling slowly, gently, quietly, elongating that exhale and allowing everything to relax toward the earth. And taking a moment to scan through the body and notice any changes in sensation. Good. Okay, so we did those 2 lower corners of the abdomen, and now we're going to work the 2 upper corners of the abdomen, meaning the space right under the rib cage, kind of gesturing towards the diaphragm. So we've talked about that in our other sessions of this breathing for low back pain, how really starting to open up and mobilize the diaphragm usually helps to relieve a lot of that discomfort in the low back and throughout the abdomen. So we'll start on that right side again. Again, gently just finding a spot where you can allow this ball to kind of sink in. So here's my ribs. I'm just falling a little bit medial to the ribs, not going all the way to midline. So just trying to find a comfortable spot where I can allow the ball to sink. So here we go. It's the same process. Find a comfortable position. Up here, it tends to get a little bit more intense. So sometimes I come up onto my elbows and I allow my body weight to sink in this position. So just finding a comfortable spot for yourself. It can be a little bit more uncomfortable. It can be a little bit more nauseating. So sometimes I don't drop all the way into a prone position. Sometimes I support some of my weight on my elbows till I get comfortable. So if you prefer to stay on your elbows this whole time, you can. If you want to drop all the way down, you can. It's your choice. I like to feel like I have a little bit more control in this position. So let's take 4 breaths here, just like we did for the hips. Inhaling slowly, gently, quietly, easily in through the nose. I'm feeling myself expanding into that ball, and I'm also using that ball as almost a push off for my spine to rise towards the ceiling, for my back to rise towards the ceiling. And then slowly, gently, quietly exhaling, allowing your weight to drop onto that ball a little bit more. Letting the tissue soften, letting your body weight relax. And then again, inhaling, pushing against the ball. Feeling your spine rise towards the ceiling, feeling your back expanding. And then as you exhale, melt onto that ball. I'm going to try to come fully prone now that I've warmed up a little bit. If it's too much for you, just stay up on your elbows. I'm going to adjust a little bit. Okay. And so same thing, 2 more breaths like this. Your choice if you want to lie fully flat or if you'd like to stay on your elbows for extra support. Inhaling slowly, gently, deeply. Feeling your back expand. I'm really feeling that posterior lower rib cage expanding, which is a nice feeling. Sort of that junction between the thoracic and lumbar spine. So that's a space that gets jammed pretty easily on people. This is a nice way to kind of open it up. Exhaling slowly, gently, easily, quietly. Allowing your body to fully relax onto the ball. Letting go of any tension. Letting go of any resistance. Allowing the tissues to soften. And we'll do 1 more breath. Here we go. Slowly, gently, quietly inhaling through the nose. Feeling the back expand, feeling the rib cage expand. Can you bring more awareness to that posterior rib cage, to the expansion of the posterior rib cage? That space behind the heart, that space behind the lungs. And then slowly, gently, quietly, easily exhaling out. Dropping all of your body weight. Good. So I felt a huge change since we started this one. I really softened. I really allowed myself to drop my weight. That ball feels totally comfortable in my abdomen now, whereas I was really fighting it when I first placed it there. So I'm feeling really relaxed, like something really opened up on that right side. So take a moment to notice, and then let's switch to the left side. Okay, so this will be our 4th and final point for this session. So we're going to do that 4th corner. So now we're going for underneath the left rib cage. So you find those left ribs, you go a little bit medial, and then you find a comfortable spot where you can allow that ball to sink into the tissue. So here we go. I'm going to start up on my elbows again. So if you need to do that, feel free to do that as well. Finding a spot where you can allow it to sink. There we go. So I'm supporting myself with my elbows for now. So for the first 2 breaths, I'm going to stay on my elbows and then I'm going to try to go prone just like we did last time. So I encourage you to experiment with that for yourselves. Here we go, breathing in. Feeling that expansion through the posterior rib cage. And then exhaling out, allowing your weight to drop onto that ball. Let the ball sink into the abdomen a little bit more. You may have to adjust on the exhale to find a spot where you can easily let that ball sink without resistance, without fighting. Let's go again. Breath number 2, inhaling. And exhaling softly, gently, quietly, trying to elongate that exhale, trying to allow your body weight to drop towards the earth. I'm already feeling a big adjustment in the organs. So when we're on this left side, we're really accessing the stomach itself. And depending where you have the ball, you might even be picking up a little bit on where that esophagus exits through the diaphragm to connect with the stomach. So I'm feeling like a little bit of gas, like a little bit of like belching coming up, but it feels really nice to kind of move the organs around here a little bit in a very gentle way. Okay, I'm going to come fully prone. If you feel like you'd like to try that, you may. Good, getting a comfortable spot. That ball is in the same place under those left ribs, gesturing towards the diaphragm. I actually feel like I want to lower the ball a little bit, so I'm just going to adjust it a little. So find a comfortable spot where you can really sink and really let go of that fight, really let go of the resistance. So here we go, nice, long, slow, deep inhale through the nose. Feeling the ribs expand. Feeling that posterior rib cage open up, trying to feel that space behind your heart, behind your lungs. We rarely think about that space. We have very little awareness of that space. So trying to increase the awareness, trying to bring some breath there, trying to bring some gentle movement there. And on your exhale, you're relaxing all the way down. You're melting onto that ball. You're allowing that ball to gently sink into your abdomen more. If it's too uncomfortable, come back up onto your elbows. Or just move the ball a little bit, adjust the ball a little bit. Let's take one final breath in this position. So inhaling, slowly, gently, quietly in through the nose. Allowing that breath to really fill the rib cage, expand into the posterior rib cage. Maybe you even feel your lumbar spine mobilizing towards the ceiling. And then on your slow, gentle, quiet exhale, really elongating the exhale. And as you elongate the exhale, allow a sense of relaxation to come over the entire body. Allow the muscles to melt in toward the earth. Really letting go of resistance. Really surrendering. Good. And now I'm going to ask that you take the ball out of its position. Slowly, moving gently. And let's just lie prone for a moment, however you're comfortable. And let's just take a few natural breaths, whatever your natural breath rhythm is. And just allow that breath to come in. Don't think about the speed or the depth or the cadence. Just allow whatever wants to happen to happen. And just notice what is different. Do you feel any change in your physical body, in your emotional body, in your mental body since we first began this practice today?
If you were in pain when we started, has that perception of pain diminished? If you were stressed or anxious when we started, has that perception of stress and anxiety diminished? Starting to really catalog in your brain how each of these exercises that we do really affects you personally, and if it's beneficial for you personally and worth practicing more. One more breath in your own time. And exhaling slowly, gently, quietly. Good.
That's it for today. I hope that these simple strategies that we practiced today were helpful for you. And I just want to say really quickly that these inflatable balls actually come in pretty handy for working on a number of areas in the body. You know, I've been using tools like this for self-bodywork treatments for decades, right? And back then, we didn't have choices. We had to get very creative with our mobility tools. But nowadays, mobility tools are very popular, and there's a lot of companies making really good quality ones and some really interesting ones as well. So just to be clear, I don't have any affiliation with any of these companies I'm about to mention, but I know some of you out there really like to have gadgets, and maybe this cheap little toy is not going to do it for you. So the three companies that come to mind right away are number one, Yamuna. She's like the originator, the queen of the body rolling, so she has really nice quality mobility tools. The second company that comes to mind is Yoga Tune-Up. Right? So she also has a beautiful variety of different mobility tools with different densities for different areas of the body. And then the third company that comes to mind is the Melt Method. Now, I've never seen an abdominal tool from that company, so you'd have to do a little bit of exploration on your own, a little bit of investigation on your own to see if it even exists, but I do like other products that come from the Melt Method company. So those three are the big ones that come to mind, and I'll be sure to include links in the video description so that you can check them out and see what you find that really resonates with you. Also, if you got any relief from today's session that we did, or if you just have some feedback or questions for me, I'd really love to hear from you. Please leave all of that in the comments below the video. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. And if you'd like a more structured breath program, then please be sure to check out my totally free Breath Basics 6-Day Challenge. And if you're interested in having more FaceTime with me, more personalized time with me, including live monthly Q&As and also live monthly guided breath sessions, then please consider joining my private online Be Light community. And lastly, if you'd like to further support my channel and the work that I do here, you may do so by either visiting my new Be Light store or by visiting my Buy Me a Coffee page. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you next time.